Moriore te whānau, what's going on? Welcome into the 99Dreams podcast. If this is your first time listening, welcome. You found a great podcast to listen to. If you're a regular listener, welcome back, whānau. Good to have you here. Today, I've got a very special treat for you guys. A lot of the Dunedin whānau, you guys know this man already. Some of you have been looking forward to seeing this one. Some of you are sick of me asking you to find Jack and tell him to reply to me. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to introduce you guys to Jack Nelson. Jack, what's going on, brother? How are you?
What's up, bro? I'm good. Thanks, Ralph, for having me on the podcast, bro.
Oh, bro, blessed to have you on here finally. I know it's a busy time for everyone, and we've finally got this man on the podcast. Been a long time coming, but we're glad to have you here, brother.
Happy to be here, eh?
Yeah. But before we dive into it, like we do with every guest on the show, do a bit of a kōwai nōwai, who you are and where you're from.
Kia ora team, ko Jack Nelson tuku ingoa no Palmerston North Ahau, ko Ngāpui, ko Ngātikahunu, uku iwi, nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Just that's the go-to, eh? Just always do that one. But yeah, kia ora everyone. I'm Jack. I actually was born in Hastings, but grew up in Palmerston North, where I started. Yeah, I boarded at Fielding High School, and then transitioned into the tertiary side of things, where I went to Massey University to study a Bachelor of Applied Science, and then halfway through that degree, I transferred over to Otago to finish it off, and then did a postgraduate degree, and that's sort of that Dunedin stage. That's where I met Ra and Dunedin crew, but yeah, man, that's sort of a bit about me.
Yeah, and man, we were blessed when Jack came down to Dunedin. He just added that extra element into that Dunedin whānau. It's been a vibe, brother. It's been a vibe. 100%. So tell us a bit more about your time at Massey. What was that like?
Yeah, Massey, interesting. I was a boarder, so when I was boarding at high school, a lot of things was like they were done for us. I guess like when I went to Massey, that was where the more independent side of things, you're free to do what you like. Like you decide, what to do with your time, and that for me was quite, I don't know, it was awesome. I loved it. So I made a whole bunch of friends down there. I had a few high school friends that would always sort of, I guess, that we linked up all the time. They were in different halls and things, and it's just the whole study side of things as well. It's quite awesome to be a part of. But yeah, in Massey, I think I was about there for a year and a half. I thought, you know what, it's been a bit of a journey there throughout high school and life and things like that. So I just decided to go somewhere completely different, and Dunedin was my calling, I guess, eh?
Bro, I feel like Dunedin is hella different, to the North Island.
100%. Yeah. I wanted to start fresh. Wanted to go somewhere that I haven't been to before. So I went to Dunedin in one summer, I think, and Ed Sheeran was playing there. And I was like, oh, yeah. It was a beautiful day, which never actually happens in Dunedin now that I've lived here for over 4 years. So,
Bro, hey, it's lies.
It's lies. So, it fooled me. I was keen. Keen to get down there, keen to get amongst it all and start fresh, meet some new people, make some new networks, and see. And the degree down there, I thought, was a bit more prestigious than the Massey one. It's the same degree, but I think it's held to a higher standard in Dunedin, I thought. So, yeah, that was all part of the reason why I moved down there. It's just a vibe, eh?
It definitely is a vibe. What do you think was the biggest? Maybe it was a shock. What do you think was the biggest shock to you when you got down to Dunedin? Coming from the North Island, being like, "Oh, this is different," or "Oh, this is mean." What was that kind of moment?
Very, very heavily student orientated. The drinking culture, you could immediately see that right out the gate. But the one thing that sort of stuck with me was when I was talking to Tamagi and her Magi helps you sort of decide what parts or what papers you should take to finish your degree. So I was transferring, she was helping me transfer these credits over, and she just said, "Oh, how's your Māori?" And I was like, "What's your Māori like?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Can you speak it? Are you fluent? Are you like, you're Māori, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's a bit of me." But I got nothing. Wasn't brought up with any of that, so I was a bit nervous when she asked me that question, and I said, probably not really me. She was like, "Oh, it's okay. We'll get you onto AMJ. She'll get you all amongst all the other students there that will be in the same boat as you." And I think it was one of the best decisions I made was to go into AMJ's paper, and that's where I met you there, Raso, and a lot of the other PEMA or TK students. So it was awesome. Yeah, but that was definitely the one thing that stood out to me was. Heading. My first paper was going to be, something to do with Māori, which I wasn't expecting at all. And it was awesome. Yeah,
Bro, hard. I think for me as well, same sort of situation as you. I didn't initially have that in my selected papers because it conflicted with one of the first year paper labs that I was doing, which pissed me off. But that paper there, like a lot of the guests that I've had on that come through Otago that have done that paper have said that's been, that light bulb moment for them where everything sort of just clicked. University finally made sense after taking that paper, but then it also opened up their eyes to a whole new world. What are some of those experiences that you had once you got into that paper?
Yeah, I guess for me, it would have been just the basics of maybe pronouncing the pronouns, all that sort of stuff, and meeting others that might be in the same boat as me, and those that are Māori but haven't actually been brought up, in that sort of context. So I think with the group that Emery teaches in that paper really allows you to open up and have an open mind, have trust in the process, you would say. When going through that paper, it definitely gave me some stepping stones into figuring out how I could relate a lot of the things that I was missing, or a lot of the things that I'd experienced in life, and relate that to the degree, to the university life, and then I guess after, how could I give back and do the same thing for others? So that sort of, I don't know if that made sense, but that sort of put it into perspective for me is, it's definitely the stepping stone in networking with others who are in the same boat. And again, with those that are more experienced, and just try and work with each other to all come to the same goal. And then at the end, that friendship was just, it was well worth it. And then, that definitely drove me through in the hard times to get to the end of that degree, that very expensive piece of paper. So, a driving force, But, I guess that was 320 for me,
Yeah, it's a paper where even if you're sort of growing up in and around Te Ao Māori, it's still one you have plenty to learn. Like, that's what I loved about it, Like, AMJ could teach anyone. If you, grew up and went to Kurareo, or if you are Māori and you have no idea about anything relating to tikanga, relating to Te Ao Māori, AMJ can have both ends of the spectrum learning equally and growing just as much as the lower ends would learn or the higher ends would learn. Everyone kind of just comes up together. That's how amazing she is as an educator,
Yeah, you said it perfectly, And I think another point was that she was the first one to inform me, that I was whāngai, so which was a big stepping stone. I had no idea what that even meant at the time, so basically, like my biological parents passed me to my uncle who couldn't have kids, so I was like the gift to him, but to me it was just like a straight up, like a version of adoption. And then, so yeah, my uncle raised me with his partner, but then they split and he went overseas, and then his partner took care of me. So all the family also went over to Aussie, so there wasn't like that much connection to the Te Ao Māori world, or like, yeah, Te Ao Māori. So yeah, I was stuck in a like more European upbringing, so I think I lost that connection there. And then AMJ sort of discussed and talked to me about it, and basically from that point on, a lot of my assignments had to do with whāngai in that paper. So yeah, and as a part of that, yeah, it's just grown with me. But yeah, no, it was definitely something that I cherished from that moment in time, and it was just easier to connect with others as well, knowing that that was what whāngai was, and then being able to say that to Māori and non-Māori, and then they'd be asking like, oh, so what was your like story, and that would just be a good like starter to the relationships that we had built in that class. But yeah.
She is a catalyst for bringing out who you really are and making you proud to be who you are. I know, same thing, you know, I always kind of pushed my taha Māori to the side. I always knew I was, but, you know, I was out here trying to be a white boy. And then it wasn't until that paper you start being like, yeah, no, I'm proud to be Māori. I should, like, you know, embrace all those elements that make me me. And she really does a great job of capturing that essence and really making you harness that as a superpower to help propel you forward, man?
Yeah. It's crazy. She's done that with a lot of us, and it's just interesting to see where we're all placed now in our new jobs and where we're at in our levels of like study and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely a driving force within the university down here.
Yeah, man. Professor AMJ, shout out. Yeah, ever at the University of Otago, definitely look into doing any papers that she is involved in. So, how important has that journey to reclaiming your identity been?
Yeah, I guess it's more of a personal journey, getting some basic understandings, and how I could relate that to my degree was one of the main things. If I could join the two together, I would have been like stoked. So I guess for me back in high school, because I was so detached from the taha Māori, I focused on sport. My hobbies are sport. That was me 24/7, all that sort of stuff. So I thought, how could I? If there must be others like me who are lacking in that side. So is there a way to use sport to, I guess, reclaim your identity, especially like those that are Māori or Indigenous, using sport to help, I guess, reclaim your cultural identity essentially, and how important it is for those that haven't even experienced it before, and what it's like to be in a team that obtain those values or uphold those values, and seeing how that would reflect, not only in team performance but in the individual's like well-being. Yeah,
because we have talked about this a few times, especially because this is the kaupapa of your postgraduate diploma, right?
Yeah. Oh man, that was a mission. That was a mission. That was. Do you want me to explain that? Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, man, it's your mahi. I can chime in wherever.
So I guess for me, and with the guidance at AMJ and Chanel, they sort of helped me focus on a topic that was quite close to the heart. So I worked with Otago Māori Rugby and looked at how we can implement the Māori values and how they implement it within their team, in a team sport that could not only enhance their performance, but also reclaim their identity, and also maybe like enhance their well-being and other factors as well. So whether it's mentally or spiritually, or they were always at one phase being a part of Otago Māori rugby. They were always experiencing, I guess, like pleasure in the fact that they were a part of this kaupapa that focused on all these different elements, and it wasn't the same as like a European like rugby team, or like a non-traditional rugby team, I guess. So yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, I created basically from that. Yeah, Otago Māori rugby has a lot of benefits, whether because it's very whānau orientated, community focused. It's it's not driven by a lot of money. It's very just you're there because you want to be there. Like it's a kaupapa that I don't know.
It's a kaupapa.
It's
a kaupapa.
Yeah. But yeah, no, everyone, it just builds stronger relationships as well. You just networks are so much stronger, and understanding the two different worlds and trying to bridge the gaps together as well to make it, I guess, more beneficial in the future, and then being able to replicate that in other team sports as well could be quite interesting. But that was basically the whole gist of it. Yeah.
That's mean. And like, did you find that maybe the preface or like the foundation for which you decided to go down this path was that you find a lot of Māori having a lot of connection and identity to sport, like sport and them are one and the same? Is that what you found before starting out this?
Yeah, I think like definitely that, and that sport was the vehicle. So that's the driving, like that's why they came, is because there's another opportunity to play rugby. So, they were always looking for when the rugby season was close to finishing, they came to Otago Māori rugby and they were like, what brought you here? I guess then they would always respond with, I guess it was the rugby first. And then, after they've spent a couple of weeks with us and they start to do their ko wānoa and start to do karakia, and because some of them are in that same boat, they don't really experience it very often, especially those from like Central Otago. They don't really get to experience it very often. So when they come back the following year after that season's done with Otago Māori rugby, they come back for both. It's not just for the sport now. So that's how I sort of, I guess, know that it does have an influencing factor, especially on the young generation. Like, So that was awesome to know that was the case. That they'll come back just for both Māori and the sport. Yeah.
You've touched on it briefly, how you say, how you mentioned they come first for rugby, but then they come back for the culture. How important is it to have, Māori sports or, like tribal wars and stuff like that? How important is it to make sure that these people get to have their contact with their culture in some form of way if they, lack access to those things?
Yeah, I think it's just like the lack of, just even understanding the knowledge of what comes with being in like a Māori rugby team or a traditional rugby team that sort of teaches these sorts of values. It's very, it's a good question. Because everyone would enter it for a different reason. That's what I also found, is that they all had their own reasons. It was the fact that one that I can remember is that it was a generational thing. So their parents did it. They were in their parents had been a part of Otago Māori rugby, so they were following their footsteps, and just along their journey, their parents would suggest to go to Otago Māori rugby as well, because they understood the importance of reconnecting with their culture, and this is the best way that they knew how. because some of the schools sometimes don't teach it as, you know, as strongly as Otago Māori rugby does, and it's just, I think, a cool way of interrelating both the sport and that knowledge. And then there were others that felt like that they had no other opportunities to express themselves as Māori because they just don't feel like they're in the right environment to express that, express their identity, express who they are. But in Otago Māori rugby, a lot of the students said that this is the one place that they feel comfortable doing so. So one of the rangatahi did their ko wanoa, and that was the first time that they'd done one in front of people, and it was just purely based on the safe environment that that organisations like Otago Māori Rugby have to offer for the Māori students here, or Māori rangatahi here in Otago. So yeah, I think those like some examples that I can think of as to why they're so important to reconnect with their culture through sport.
No, that's mean. That's mean. And you have said that it's a credit to the safe space that you guys create at Otago Māori Rugby. That is a huge part of being able to express who you are as Māori, is first feeling comfortable, second feeling safe. So how do you go about creating a safe environment for all the rangatahi?
It's a lot about, something we'd use the term a lot is whanaungatanga, so building first when they get onto the marae. Like we'd use the marae as one of our, locations to host such gatherings. So there'd be people coming from Central Otago to Dunedin, like from Dunedin to Waitaki regions and Balclutha as well. They're all coming to this sort of one spot and they don't know each other. So the first stage is to do play some whanaungatanga games with them, get them to feel comfortable being uncomfortable. So they'd be doing their ko wanoa, even if they haven't, their ko waio, so even if they haven't done their theirs before, just getting them, if you get every person to do it in a circle, I guess it's like a influence to get them to say it. And as soon as it's consistent and it's normalized, then they feel comfortable repeating it, and then that's where you head into the games, or you probably go into some food and stuff and get conversations going with parents, with the students as well, and then you'd figure out, then you go into like some whanaungatanga games, some icebreakers as well, and it just all plans out, and then you sort of know if it works or not because they come back the next week to all the trainings, and it's just about letting them be themselves as well, but also being uplifting. Don't put them down when they get things wrong. So I was in the exact same boat. Like I would hate it if someone was telling me I was doing it wrong, but like with the right guidances, I think they would come back and be happy to come back as well. And then the rugby just becomes the added bonus, I guess, on top of it. And the parents rate it, the surrounding community, they really enjoy being a part of it. They don't have to, but it's a volunteer sort of situation. So they're happy to use their own fuel. Parents are happy to use their own fuel to drive all this way for a training or two per week, and it's it could be 2 hours long, their trip just one way. So they end up making that trip. Like the organisation itself is built off just heaps of volunteers and people giving up their own time to make sure that these rangatahi have that access to both the rugby and, of course, their culture, or reclaiming their cultural identity. A lot of exposure, I think. And there's always opportunity for those who are volunteering in those organisations to upskill themselves as well. So,
I mean, um, that's on, and I love how it's that environment where it's all about whakawhanaungatanga, coming together,
100%.
unifying one another through commonalities and
Mm,
normalizing
yeah,
being uncomfortable, but in a space where everyone has to feel uncomfortable. Everyone has to get out of their comfort zone
yeah,
to be like, oh shucks, I don't want to do my PPH. I don't want to have
yeah.
to stand up. And, oh, what if I mess it up? Oh, what if someone laughs? Oh, you got all those thoughts
It's
running through your head, eh?
nerve wracking. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Because there's been times where I'm in that situation. I know you've been in that situation.
right.
That throws us back to some of our 206, 306, 321. How have those lessons that you've learned in um, our specs and our physio wānanga that
Yeah.
have translated into being a leader and role model for the rangatahi in Otago Māori?
Right. I never call myself a leader. No, yeah. Uh, so you're asking what it like based on the stuff in Specs 301, sorry, Specs 306, 206 at the time.
Well,
How has that
yeah,
influenced me to be a leader in an organisation like Otago Māori Rugby? So you
yeah.
said,
Like has those papers and has those wānanga have how does that even work? That's a whole bunch of
yeah.
English, but did those wānanga experiences help you going through into Otago Māori rugby?
Hmm. Yeah, well, I guess looking at a lot of the past tuakana that have been there, experiencing it from like a Tainer student coming through in 206 and seeing them who would have been in your footsteps, I don't know, like 5, 6 years ago, sort of thing, and how Emery, the way that she has set out that paper, she's allowed those students to organise the whole Wānanga trips uh, to, I guess, take more of an independence lead. So I'm talking more from the tour kind of side, like they're now the leaders in yeah, like in their own right. And looking at that from my perspective, I was like, that's awesome. I'd love to do something like that and be one of them. So I was sort of, I guess, shadowing them and what sort of figuring out how they operate as a group because they had great chemistry as well, which is something that great relationships, great chemistry, which is something that I don't know, I'd say like admire, which is quite awesome, as well as being, like a leader as amongst all of us. So I don't know, maybe like to aspire to be something like that. So that was, I guess, like my journey where I was happy to focus more on the Māori side rather than just focus on the sport. And it sort of, yeah, my degree sort of split into two. And then you head into 306 and, like those papers, like listening off Amory, those papers sort of, I don't really know how to describe it, but it becomes fluid, it becomes natural. You start to have an open mind, you start to figure out like how the Māori world works, especially in a European context, and having an open mind about joining the two together. And then I guess on top of all the other physiological stuff that you learn throughout your degree, you sort of can add on. And then you know, 2, 3 years have passed, and you haven't really realised it, but you're one of those tuakana that you quite like admired at the time. And at that point, I was just like, oh, this is weird. Like, yeah. And Anne-Marie would always reflect on it. They'd be like, you guys have been, these guys have been in your shoes before a couple of years back. And I was like thinking way back when she said that, I was thinking, wow, that was me like 3 or 4 years ago. And then, just helping out just where I can, wherever I was needed. And then, found myself in Otago Māori Rugby where it actually was you know, the physical aspects of rugby, fitness, all that sort of stuff, and the Māori perspective of reclaiming your identity actually, you know, combined and became my research. And I was thinking, far out, that's insane. Like it just naturally happened, and that's where I keep referring back to my trust in the process. That's what AMJ always say. So I trusted in the process in 320, and then it just got me to being one of these. I guess you could call it a leader, I guess, in its own right. But I hate it. I don't like that. It's just weird. But and now working for Sport Otago, it's sort of like the same thing. So it's a vibe.
That's all. When did the sort of moment you realised that, oh shit, maybe I am a tour kind of now to some of these students coming through?
Probably wasn't until post-grad. Post-grad was, probably, like, I think, like, far out. Because then in 320, you go to PEMA, right? So, Physical Education Māori Association. Yeah. So that was like, that was my my starting to feel like I'm getting somewhere in this field, being a leader of some sort at least, even if it was all, even if it wasn't noticed up front, I'd always just be doing the background work. But at that, it just felt like PEMA was a stepping stone, and then it'd build you up into your post-grad. Once you hit post-grad, Emory definitely gives you a lot of more independence, I think, and puts you in the deep end a little bit, which is good. It's good, but far out. At the time, I was like, oh no, this is not okay. But no, it was worth it. So then in post-grad, you would get given all these, I guess, like miniature kaupapa things that you'd work on with AMJ. So that's sort of, Otago Māori Rugby was one of them. You attend her lectures every now and again to work with students. You'd organise or be part of the organising for the wānanga that should run at the end of the year. Where you'd have to, organise everything to a T in terms of time, like when everyone's when are you getting up to make the breakfast, who's on what, like it's just right now it's you'd look back and it's a lot of fun. It's at the time when you're doing it, you're like, far out, have we thought about this, or can you do this? Like, and it's just small things like working as a team to be able to make something like that happen, especially for students their grades, like they rely a lot on this paper. So it's not just like you do some marking as well. Like it's, I don't know, when you got some sort of power or like independence, it was definitely at that post-grad level, I think, that it came around, and you start to where you influence other people's work as well. So I think, so we have an opportunity to influence someone else's work. So whether that's when you're talking, helping them in a group just during their lectures, or marking their posters at one of their assignments and things like that. So it's just, that's where I sort of felt like more of a tour kind of where you have that power to make influence. And that was definitely that situation, and it just sort of builds on and builds on. And it might just be natural, you don't really realize that you're getting to this point, but I guess reflecting now, it's definitely been building. So I don't know, again, like I don't know where I'll be in 2 years time, 4 years time. It's just trust in the process.
Bro, AMJ's so good at, just without you even knowing it, she just throws things at you that she knows you can do, and you just accumulate all this experience, and then sure enough, like, oh hey, mark this paper. Hey, I don't know how to mark this paper.
Yeah.
And then it's the bro, what did you give them out? Or how much did you give them? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'll give them a 6 then. And then all of a sudden you've got that confidence to now take over and perform in her lectures, like present.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like when I first went into university, I never thought that's something that I would ever want to do or could do. But then coming out of it, it's like, bro, I could do that all day, every day.
Yeah. You just learn as you go. Yeah, man. There's a lot of things that you learn throughout that whole journey through 320, 206, 306, and then even just postgraduate studies. Even just talking to like our tour kind of at the time was just like, how did you get involved with this? And then man, it's funny how it all just connects. You don't even realize it. It's good though. It's good.
Hard out, and that toa kind taina relationship is so important, not just in Te Koronga or in the PE school with Pema and the Tauira there, but in any kind of organization. Doesn't matter if you're like physically older or if you've been in the role a little bit longer. It's always that to kind of retain a relationship to help
100%.
guide new people in so that they can help raise the bar of where you guys currently are at, whether it be in a business, an organization, charitable trust. You know, you got to have that strong, solid foundational relationships together.
100%.
Who was? Well, I'll go this route. Who was one of your inspirations that you looked up to and thought, shit, I could do postgrad too? Like who was it that you saw at a noho or around uni that you were like, I want to be like that fella there on, or I want to be like her, she's doing amazing?
Yeah, interesting. Well, I think I initially thought, because in our 320, there was all the tour kind of like Benja, Charles, Tarina. But funnily enough, it was, I think it was Chanel that I saw working. Like, this is just the initiation of it all. Like, I saw Chanel finishing off her I think it was her PhD at the time, and she was at the Noho, and she was doing her research, and she was like just a part of the whole kaupapa. So I was like, far out, there's so much work. I don't know how I'd ever be. Like, I saw it, and then so then I looked at the others that were there as well, and that's like Benja and all them. They're all working in their own separate groups, and taking charge of. And I don't know if were they at their PhDs then? Do you know?
Which one was it? 320 or 306?
320. I think it's 320.
320. I think.
I can't remember.
I think they might have been finishing masters, about to start PhDs.
Yeah, it was definitely in the like transition zone, but so I saw them as well doing some great things, and I thought like I'd like to aspire to be something like this and head down this direction, because it aligned with everything that I was doing and was wanting to do. So I sort of paid closer attention to them, but also knowing that AMJ was sitting at the top there, and she would have developed these guys, like from when we were 320s, when they would have been 320s. So I think just playing it right, and they obviously were role models at the time. So I think that's sort of where I initially, because it was all happening at once. So it wasn't just like one individual in class one day. It was just like all happening at once at a wānanga, at a group gathering where they're helping us out, and they were at masters, PhD levels, and again reiterating like they've combined that physical with the with the Māori side as well. Like, yeah, Māori knowledge, yeah, mātauranga. So yeah, I think that was my pivoting point, or at the part where I was like, oh yeah, how can I get up? How can I follow this journey? Is it PIMA? Is it am I working with the right team right now to make the best of what I'm wanting out of this degree and this journey?
Yeah,
Mm, mm.
yeah, definitely is.
And then that they were following, like, yeah, AMJ was just even better. Like, yeah.
Yeah, bro, no, definitely. Like, the two kind of, especially at that time, I feel like we were so privileged at that time because we got to see all of them in their element now, and especially the likes of Charles, Tarina, Ben, too. Who else was there? In that particular novel, I can't quite remember who else was in those ones. Yeah, but I can remember those ones distinctly.
Yeah,
and it's like, man, we were privileged to see them and to see them just having a good time with us, but like showing us that postgrad is on, and it's a place where Māori can thrive as well.
100%.
That's when I was like, oh, this could be mean. This could be mean.
Then it was that group, like the group that was there, our 320 group as well. You could, it was Jerry, like yourself, Harmy Order, like all those boys. There's Jade and stuff, I think, Ash.
I think Jaden would come the next year.
Oh, was it the next year? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you got that group, that solid foundation, and everyone looked like that they could aspire to be like them, and so associating, I thought, like, building relationships with you guys might align with my journey and what I was trying to achieve, and it definitely did. Like, Tyrone was there as well. I think there's a few others.
Oh yeah, Tyrone, Bays.
Tyrone was there. So it was, it was the group that I thought would want to be a part of, would want to follow the same journey as me. So I think that definitely helped through that whole journey, because then, it came around to, was it 306, and we're all like, are you guys doing that paper again? Is that us? Like, surely we're going to do that again, and we'll just we're just all stoked that we're all even thinking about doing it together. And then I think there was some of us on PEMA at this stage, and now probably our last year and things like that. Where the study retreat came into it as well, and you could see you just see that it was slowly developing throughout the years, and then the study retreat turned into Wānanga, and Wānanga turned into all these different other kaupapa that you're a part of, and it's you can see the process. It's just I think you have to surround yourself with the right group as well to be able to sort of, I guess, thrive in that area, which is quite interesting.
I didn't even realize it until you just said it just then, that we really, like, a lot of things aligned that year for us all to meet, to all sort of be on that same kaupapa, because we all kind of pushed each other and try to elevate one another to do a lot better in our final years, like, not just academically, but in terms of helping out on kaupapa. That study retreat, which was a hell of a thing to try and get up and running, and it was even worse running the bastard, but it was worth it. Like, that was one of the highlights of that entire. I think that was a highlight of my actual uni career, other than graduating. But it's up there.
Because you're with all, like, that was. It wasn't just PEMA as well. Like, it was other students. It didn't have to be Māori related. Like, it was other students from different areas that came through that that weren't actually focusing on what we were focusing on, but they still wanted to be a part of it. And I thought that was like, we've created this space where they feel comfortable to do that. And it was just a vibe, and it's just something that I feel like some papers just can't teach. It's just developed. You can't teach the vibe.
The vibe just
Yeah.
it is. It's just
Yeah.
the vibe.
It's a lot of like people skills that your paper's sticking to terminologies and processes and things like that. But if you just get out of the classroom and I don't know if it's like combination of people skills with the team that you're with, but you can make stuff happen, without all this textbook stuff. So yeah, it was awesome. Yeah.
Hard. I definitely, yeah. Even sitting here now, reminiscing on those times, I'm like, shit. I wish I could go back for a little bit, just relive some of those days, because man, those are so much fun.
100%.
Definitely glad we lived those moments, and
Yeah. Yeah.
we were there for it, because there's some moments we've had, man. We've had, what was it, the people. We've had the grad dinner. Those moments where we got everyone back together for one hell of a night. Those were the good times, bro. I love and miss those moments.
Yeah, they're definitely some of my favourite times there in Dunedin, that's for sure.
Shit,
yeah.
It'll always hold a special place in my heart, Dunedin. As much as I hated being there for so long, it's definitely my second home, man. I'd gladly go back. I think if I had the right kaupapa, I'd gladly go back and
you have to be passionate
out
about
there.
Yeah, fair enough. That's so true.
Would you ever consider doing more postgraduate studies one day, like part time, not full time, but just do part time alongside of your mahi?
Potentially, yeah, because there's a lot. So I work for Sport Otago now as an active recreation lead. So that's basically like increasing active recreation opportunities for youth in Otago. And now that I've been in the role for just over a year, I sort of feel like there's space sitting at as a lead, you have a lot of scope within your role and how you want to operate. So I think it'd be quite interesting, because this is a new role as well, that Sport Otago, that if I went back to postgraduate studies, I would definitely be part-time, but I feel like I could interrelate my role and focus more on maybe focus more on the in Māori and other sports as well. It wouldn't just be Otago Māori rugby. It would be maybe working with South Pac. Because they
they got all the sports,
different sports. And it doesn't have to be just sports too. It could be like active recreation activities. So it's like fishing, hunting, mountain biking. Maybe spacing it out a bit. But, I guess it's just, that's sort of my vision of how I would interrelate my role with my future studies part-time.
Would that be a PhD or a master's?
Probably just the master's at the moment. You'll stick with the master's. Don't want to overload. But because it's a lot of work behind the scenes with this role, but it's definitely doable. That's for sure. I definitely have time, and the passion to want to do further research in this particular sector, I guess, that sporting active rec sector, and trying to intertwine the Māori in it as well. Yeah.
That's mean, bro. That's mean. I hope you do get the opportunity one day to go back and rip apart the blow the dust off the old laptop and textbooks and get back into a bit more study.
Yeah. Be more sedentary again. Yeah. My job's really like that. This will put me. Yeah, this will be very similar. That's all good. It's worth it in the end, I reckon.
Hard up. We have this thing that we do on the show. It's called, it doesn't actually have a name. It's just to do with this dream box here, where we get you to share with us a dream and we put it in the dream deposit box. Now this says, always remember when they doubted you. It's a Trae Young sneaker. I just love the sentiment of the quote that's on the box.
Yeah.
But inside, every guest has come on the show and deposited a dream.
Oh, yeah. I rate that.
Some more realistic than others.
Right.
We've had people wanting, a McLaren. People want to inspire others to chase their dreams. Some people want to get, to run a half marathon and run 100 runs in the year. Some people want to just reach 30 years old. They're currently 26, and some just want to be a mum.
Fair. I like that.
So, what is your dream?
My dream.
Quite tough, is it?
I don't know how realistic it would be, but
hey, that's all good because ideally, I'd like to, once everyone starts achieving their dreams, that wall behind me, once I paint the wall and all that, it's all going to come down, and I'll have like a digital photo album or something up there where everyone who achieves their dreams can send me in a photo of them achieving their dreams, or sending in a document or a memento of them achieving their dreams, and it'll just be all plastered up there. So hopefully one day we've got more dreams achieved than dreams banked.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's go with working for Sport New Zealand one stage.
Work for Sport New Zealand.
Yeah, that's a vibe.
Oh, nice. And how would you go about achieving that?
Just sticking to the role that I'm in now, and slowly building my way up. Maybe working in different other sectors as well.
Nice.
And then we'll see how we go. Yeah, nice. Boom. We'll take that. Because my other one was gonna be have my own sports label.
Okay, let's write that too.
Oh no, I was joking though. That was more like unrealistic.
That's all good. We'll write it down.
But if it does happen, then I know where to go. Eh?
So what kind of sport label? Like, explain that a little bit to me.
Like a clothing label.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, like
clothing
Nike,
brand, sports clothes.
Like Nike, Adidas, but then there'll be like my own version.
Yeah, nice. We'll call it Pungel's brand.
Yeah.
No, but that's awesome, bro. Well, when that happens, send us up a hoodie.
Bro.
And...
I'll send you a full jumpsuit.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then I've got enough money to afford it.
Bro, on the house.
Me, brother. That's me. We'll talk off camera about this, eh?
Okay.
We'll build on this. We'll talk about it off camera.
So this is off camera? Yeah.
Those are some great dreams, bro. And like I said, we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about that off camera and, see how that cordial goes. But we could always, link back up a little bit later. And even if it's a 20-30 minute podcast, just to talk about that cope-ups, that dream of yours, because that's a good one, bro. I reckon we can make that shit happen straight up. We can definitely make that shit happen.
All right, that.
But moving on into another part that we do, I might split this up a little bit differently. It's going to sound a little bit weird to my usual viewers and listeners. We're going to go with Rock and Rose right now. What is your Rock and your Rose of 2022, your highs and your lows? Because we're in 2023 now, so it's always a good time to reflect on your Rock and your Rose of 2022.
Yeah. I just got maybe surpassing my 1 year in my job, because that's the first time I've been fully employed for a whole year. Because I've always just worked part time, so it's like a small win.
That's a huge win. Come on now.
Then moving flats, we've moved into somewhere quite nice now, so stoked about that one. It's a high. Going to an active rec conference, so meeting all those that are in my position, but all in that one that one location, and just from across their regions. They're all active rec leads from like Sport 102, like all those people. So everyone's sort of coming to that for that one day. We had some, I think it was 2 or 3 days, so it's a lot of whānauitonga happening along amongst that. So those are probably all my highs.
It's good to hear that you have plenty.
No, I'm stoked. It doesn't take much for me to be happy. I'm pretty easy guy. Yeah.
Just happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Oh, bro, one more high. It had to be BFS. That was a vibe.
That's right.
The boys came up. I came down for it, but yeah. Yes, probably the lows. I'd say. Me don't really have many lows, but one for the podcast is just. I think I've just hyperextended my shoulder playing touch, funnily enough, but like it's still a bit niggly, so just this guy was just way too fast for me, and I had to dive for him, but in the process I sort of just hyperextended my shoulder, and it just hasn't come right just yet. So that would be my one low for the year. So
that's not bad.
It affects the basketball shot, so gotta get that right, because it's my right shoulder. So
yeah.
Anything that extends above here is a bit sore, so just getting that right is the goal for 2022. Or 2023, sorry.
3-point range.
Oh, bro, I don't even have a 3-point range to begin with. I'm a mid-range shooter, if anything. If I'm lucky.
This man is uber athletic, though. Uber athletic. Should have seen him in our netball team. Me and Nicole briefly talked about it. Like, you can win heaps of games if you have a jack.
That's not okay.
Hey, if we had some recorded footage, I'd play it right now, and then the viewers can see how astonishingly athletic this guy is.
There's way more athletic people than me.
Yeah, but not on those courts that we were playing.
That's true. That was good fun though. Social sports, though. It's a social sports.
Yeah, the only thing social about it is us winning.
Us winning, yeah, it has to. Yeah. Nah, true.
Oh,
true.
man. What was one of the highlights from Bearfest? You briefly mentioned it. You might as well talk about it. Let's relive some of those memories, especially for some of our listeners.
Yeah, I guess that was like the first time. I don't even know. They were all together, so there's what?
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years.
2019 was the last time that particular group were all together.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah. So it's like 3 years.
Did we ever get a group photo? We really should have got a group photo. With,
we were split. We were all lost over Bearfest. Like, I don't know where the heck. I don't even know where I was. Like, frick. It was but no, because I think 2 is usually the hardest person to get into one. Well, because then everyone's moved, so it's just basically it was at this time it was myself and Bailey. Now Bailey's gone. Like he's moved up.
He's moved over to the East Coast. He's up north now.
Yeah, so now it's just me down here out of all that group. So yeah, the rest of you's North Islanders, and it's just me and Charles who are Christchurch and Dunedin. So
save up, get you a ticket to that Warriors game, get a flight to Wellington, and catch a ride with Jerry. With Jerry, because he's coming. He's coming. He's got a plan, but he's coming. I got to stay on his ass. I think Two's just brought his ticket.
Yeah. Does he have his full yet?
Nah, I think he does. Maybe he doesn't, but he's getting a car soon.
Fuck, that guy. Okay, yeah.
I was just with him the other week.
Oh, true. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Went to Tauranga and caught up with him.
Yeah.
He's doing well.
That's good. Hey, wait, he went to Tauranga?
Me.
All the way out there? Oh, you did?
Yeah. He's from Tauranga.
Oh, is he? I always thought he was from Wellies, eh? Far.
Nah, he's from Tauranga.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh. But I only just said that because he convinced me that he could drive my car when I maybe
Oh no,
second year of
yeah,
my knowing him.
Jerry's from Wellies, Two's from Tauranga.
Oh, you went to two. Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, I went to
Gotcha. We're on
two.
the same
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah.
but
Okay.
tell this story because it's hella funny.
Yeah. So I was surprised. All right, the only reason why I asked that was because of one time we went to. Well, I think we had a boys' trip to Central. We had two cars, and then one of our other drivers couldn't drive on the way back from. So we went to Queenstown, stayed there. It was like a 3-night trip, a 3-day trip sort of thing. So a couple of nights, and then so everyone was pretty hammered. They were pretty not feeling too well, pretty dusty. And then that left I was one of the drivers. There's one other driver as well, and that other driver definitely could not drive. So Jerry was like, "Oh, bro, I could drive," and I was like, "Oh, hey, you on your full?" And he's just like, straight up, like not even hesitating. He's like, "Yeah, bro, I'm sweet. Like I've got my full. You want to see it?" And I was just like, "No, I trust you." And then frick, we were in Alexandria. So yeah, he was the driver for one car, I was the driver for the other. And then we were in, I think it was Alexandria. We stopped off at the supermarket. We all came out together, and then as I was backing out, I was about to leave. Jerry was backing out, and he scrapes this car in the parking lot. I think it was like the left side of the car, right up against this grey side, and all you could see was this. As he was reversing, it just went, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" And I turned back, and he slammed his brakes on. And he was like, "Oh no!" And then I got out. All the boys just like, "Oh no, Jerry's just hit someone," and I was just like, "No way, this is not happening." I got out of the car. I parked back up, and then I was like, "What did you do?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know, bro. That grey car was just there, and then I was reversing. Next minute, I just scraped this car." And I was like, "Far out! I thought you were a capable driver or something." You told me, and he's just like, "Nah, bro. I'm only on my learners." And I was just like, right, the sourest face. And then this guy, the owner of the car, came out, and he was lucky. He was just like, "Oh no, it's all good. I'll just don't worry about it." He was just he was good for it. So he let us go with that one, and I was just like, "Jerry, fuck out." For fuck's sake, so I was just shucks, bro. Like, come on. But yep, that's a highlight of Jerry. Unreliable.
Nah, see, I'm not the only one that gives this man some slander. Other people give it too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Bro, he's got to come on this podcast one of these days to defend himself.
He will. And it's just
one of these days. We're trying, Fano. We're trying to get Jerry on the show. He's just a hard man to contact, and he doesn't want to do it via Zoom. So
he'll be good for it.
Well,
yeah. Oh, he wants to be in person.
Yeah, he also wants to be in person. And I'm like, bro, when am I in Wellington? Come on now, be real. You're not coming to Taranaki. Come on, brother.
This is true.
Help me out.
Yeah. Nah.
So yeah, he's a unique individual. We'll go that route. He's a unique individual.
But you can't hate him.
Nah, you definitely can't. He's just Jerry.
Yeah,
he's just Jerry. Everyone expects it. Like, so we're going from that story. We might as well tell this one. So it's Beer Fest, right? We all, well, pretty much we rock up together. Jerry and me, we had to wait for another Uber because the cars were full. So there was way too many people to go in all in one car. So me and Jerry are like, "Oh, yo, sweet as, we'll catch an Uber." And we were just drinking, chatting. 2 hours went by, and Jack's previous flatmate walks in, and he's like, "Oh, what are you two doing?" We're like, "Oh, we're just waiting for the Uber." And he goes, "Oh, yo, who called the Uber?" And I look at Jerry, I go, "Jerry, you called the Uber?" He goes, "I thought you called the Uber." I was like, "Oh, shit. Nah, no one called the Uber." So legit, if Henry didn't come home, me and Jerry still would have been at like Jack's house.
Yeah.
We would have had a good time though, because I mean, we had all the beers.
100%. He had all our drinks. That was all good. You guys would have.
But then when we get there, so this is, I'm a liability when I'm on the piss. Like, you can't leave me in a spot on my own. I'm like a dog. Like, I'm just gonna go and do my own thing, and I'm lost. So we get there. Jerry goes, "Bro, I'm just going to go buy a drink. I'll be right back." I don't know where he went. I think he said he went to the Spades tent. So he shoots off over there. I look around, and I'm like, "Yo, I might go over there." So I just walk, and I go randomly. And then I don't know where, but I linked up with Bailey and 2. So I linked up with those two, and I was like, oh, yo. And they're like, oh, where's Jerry? I was like, gee, I don't know. I thought he was abused. And so we spent that whole day going, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You should see our group chat. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And then send pics. So we're just sending photos of where we are.
Where we are. Yeah.
And then by the end of it, we're all together. And then it's, where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? Where's Jerry? Jerry, where are you?
Bro, he went radio silence for a full like 24 hours. I swear, like he just.
Well, because he lost his phone.
Yeah. So he like couldn't. I get messages from all these like random girls. I was like, I don't know these people, and then I said, "Oh, it's Jerry," and I was just like, "Oh, true. He's done one of these again." Oh, yeah, that's
bro.
Good.
I messaged him back and I go, "You don't look like Jerry." Blocked.
Nice.
I was like, man, I'm not falling for this scam.
Yeah, and the man misses his. Oh, bro, frick.
That's right.
Misses his flight
twice.
Yeah, and he gets me to book his taxi, and then I'm here asleep. So, because you had to give them a number, I was like, Jerry, you better be up at this time and waiting outside. He's like, yeah, no worries. I think he might have gone to the bar the night before. I don't know. You know, if you go there, you're never coming out. But like,
we did go to the bar that night.
Yeah, that was the bar night. And I was getting this. I got 3 or 4 calls in the middle. I think it was like 2:30, 3 a.m. because I went home early. And I was just like, what is this number? Why are they calling me? They're like, it's your taxi. Can you please come outside? I was like, after the third ring, I just thought to myself, well, he's staying here in Dunedin for at least another day because he's missed his flight. But, yeah, it's just that guy.
He is a headache and a blessing at the same time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one.
You guys need to get yourself a friend like Jerry, if anything. Like, as unreliable as he is, he'll always be there when you need him the most. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters at the end of the day. Got to get you a Jerry. If you don't have a Jerry in your friend group, it's probably you.
True, though. True.
I'm going to throw it over to our next segment in the show. That's always a consistent segment in the show. It's... if you could talk to, if we had Jack and he was aged, let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go 19-year-old Jack. If you could talk to 19-year-old Jack. No, wait, I think I used 19 yesterday with Tali. Let's go with 21-year-old Jack.
21. What would I say to him?
Yeah, if you wanted to, like if 21-year-old Jack was sitting across from you. You had the opportunity to impart some wisdom on him or just say something to him. What would you say and why?
Yeah. At this stage, if it was me speaking from this age, and I went back down, if I talked to Jack when he's 21, I'd say, keep doing you, bro. Because I'm happy where I am now. Like at the moment, I think, just trust in that process. Keep doing you, because no matter what, at where I'm at now, I'm pretty happy with my job, with my lifestyle. Can't really fault anything at the moment. So I don't know why I would change. I don't know what they would look like in the next 10 years though. So if I was, 35 and then I came back, things might have changed by then, I'd say something different. But from my perspective now, we just keep doing because I'm stoked where I'm at. Yeah.
Just whisper quietly to 21-year-old Jack, stay away from Jerry.
I think I already because I think it was my 21st actually too. No, was it? No, did I meet him then? It was a birthday of mine, and that's why we went to Queenstown. So I'm wondering if it was that birthday. Because I think I might have been 21. I don't know.
Shit.
It could have been 21, I think. It could have been my 21st birthday, and we went to Queenstown, and it was that day. So, if I was 21, I'd say stay away from Jerry. If I was back down, if I could talk to my 21 self, stay away from Jerry. Don't let him drive the car, at least. Don't let him drive.
Nah, in all seriousness though, we do love Jerry. As much flack as we give him, we do love Jerry.
He's a vibe.
That is some great advice, though. If you're happy with where you are at the moment, why
Right now.
change things?
Yeah.
It's always
So,
like I always ask it as like sort of a caveat, like it's a what if, what if you
mm,
did change,
mm,
or if there is anything significant in your life that you missed out on, or that
yeah,
you're glad you didn't do, you know,
yeah,
like oh man, you know how you had that kaupapa and you didn't go, bro, lucky.
lucky, yeah. Oh, yeah, shit. I don't even know if I'd have anything like, sorry, I like that. Um, no, bro, pretty happy with all my
Mean,
decisions, eh? Yeah,
mean. That's good though.
lucky.
That's good. Like
Yeah,
you never want to live life with regret, and
nah,
you
nah. It's a
just take
yeah,
it day by day, and whatever comes comes.
exactly. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything. Like if I was going back down to 21 South, nah, man, just be you. Just keep doing you.
Yeah.
So I feel like I made all the right decisions anyway. So
Oh,
for
definitely.
myself,
You've made some great decisions.
great friends, yeah, great decisions, great work. Can't complain.
Then on the other side of that coin, we normally ask people, what would you like to say to yourself? Because this is a video and it's being recorded. It's on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, YouTube. It's everywhere you can find it. We're on iHeartRadio now. So you can listen back to this in 5 to 10 years' time.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to yourself in the future? Most people get stumped on this one. They're like, oh, shit, I don't know. It's hard. It is hard. It's not meant to be an easy question.
Nah. Like straight off the top of my head, I say, have you made it yet? But jeez, bro. That's just that has to be the hardest question yet.
Go on, Blake. Do you want to come back to it?
Yeah, we'll come back to that one, eh?
Yeah. Just keep thinking about it, though. Don't stop thinking about it. Because some people forget and then bring it back up and they're like, oh, shit. But yeah, keep thinking on it. Keep thinking on it.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the best piece of advice you've been given for life? Like, not just, like, here's the best piece of advice for today. Use an umbrella. It's raining. Now, what's the best piece of advice you've ever heard that's been applicable to your entire life?
Probably. Yeah. Probably do 320.
Like, that's the best piece of advice you've been given.
That's the best piece of advice I've been given. Like, do 320. Do that paper. Basically, do that paper with Anne Marie. Because that has set the foundation. That set
is a great paper, yeah.
Yeah, that set the foundation for everything that I'm happy about now. So I don't know why, because that was me being hesitant. I was like, nah, I don't want to. Like, I was straight down. I was like straight to her. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. She was like, no, it's all good. Like we'll find you. Some students that will be keen to help you out throughout the paper. I was like, yeah, but nah. Like I seriously don't feel comfortable. She's like, nah, it's all good. We got you. It's because it also might have clashed with something else. And I was just at that stage, I was just like, no, I do not want to do it. But she said, do 320. I listened to her. Yeah, do 320 from Margie Lazard. That was the best advice I've been given, I think, because that's just built that pathway to where I am now. So high school in life, all that sort of stuff, it was, nothing, no better advice until then. Yeah, I'd say.
That is some great advice because, I think for me, that changed my whole trajectory and where I was heading.
Yes, it does, yeah. It might not be, because a lot of people will be listening and they're like, it might not be applicable to me. Like, what like, what's 320? Like, what does that even mean? But yeah, from like you said, for my personal journey, what was the best piece of advice? That would definitely be the top notch, and it's the one that came straight to my head. So has to be, right. Has to be.
It has to be. Has to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great answer. Have you thought any more on the previous one? What you say to yourself? Or you want to carry on?
I can carry on. I've been thinking though. That's a tough question though. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are some of your mentors or role models that have had a significant impact on who you are today?
I basically spent the first 20 odd minutes talking about Anne Marie, so she'd be definitely one. So I won't go into any more conversation about her, but I don't know. I think honestly, and that's probably why you asked this question, is you, bro.
Definitely did.
100% why you asked that question, because
definitely not.
You've literally, like I said, from that piece of advice that I was given from Margie, you've like almost been the one step ahead guy. So if I had any questions, like for example, you had already had more knowledge in Te Reo Māori than me, but I talked to you about that openly, and yeah, you'd do it in a way that doesn't discourage me to want to learn more. Like you teach me stuff that wouldn't want me to be discouraged. You entered the summer internship before me, and you sort of just discussed like what entailed, like the benefits of doing it. You told me to go to PEMA. You connected me to basically two, and all the two kind of that I look up to anyway. Two and Benja and all them. And then you were the first one to do postgrad out of me and you. So I saw you, and I was like, well, I got to follow the footsteps basically, because you're always one step ahead, and that's sort of what you sort of paved the way. It was the front line to me figuring out if that's something I wanted to do or not. It's like masters, I was like, oh, maybe not masters. I might stop at masters, eh? But like definitely everything up to that point, I was like, oh, he's struggling. I'm probably gonna struggle for sure, and especially with working, I was like, I'll probably happy with the postgrad, like the PG dip at the moment. So yeah, because you did honours first, so then I did a PG dip to follow up. But you've been one step ahead, which is me. Like that's like you've been in that same friend group as me as well. So coming up, you're probably basically the last one to leave from that friend group, I think.
Yeah, would it be you and Bailey?
Yeah, me and Bailey. Yeah. But I mean, like through that journey in particular. So actually, yeah. And that like TK sort of group.
Yeah.
That would definitely be. I'd say you.
I'm humbled. Thank you.
Oh, good. Like everyone else has definitely had their input and has definitely shaped me in some way, but it's usually been like little bits here, there, here. Like my parents would tell me this, my partner or Ayla would tell me something like this, or they're very like things that I can't pinpoint. But like to make them someone that I'd, role model, I guess, that I think is a role model. But yeah, following your footsteps, bro, would have been definitely one of them. And just built from there, eh? See, not nice when it gets flipped around. You're the one getting told nice things, compliments. But
I do appreciate that, though, brother. It means a lot. It means a lot. But it was. Well, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't hard, but there was always like that sort of challenge to make sure that you do as best that you can and try to get the ones coming in behind you to do even better.
Yeah,
because like if you're the pinnacle and I'm not saying that I am, but if you're the pinnacle and the ones that are coming through aren't quite hitting that mark, then there's something wrong with you. Whereas, and this is like your mahi well exceeded mine by the time you got through the end of your
I don't know.
your PG dip, well exceeded the level that mine was at when I handed mine in. So it's great to see that when you come through, you were able to go well and above what I did.
100%.
So, it's mean, and glad to have been a part of the journey, brother. And we ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Exactly. Only a phone call away.
Always.
Heaps of things.
And that goes out to any of the brothers or any of the listeners, any of the 99Dreams whānau as well. Like, we're always here. If you need anything, whether it be a phone call, just a chat, whether it be some advice, whether it be, how do I do a master's? Don't fucking ask me.
That's just a whole nother kettle of fish. Let's not go there.
Yeah, bro, 100%. You made the smart move to push it off for a little while. It's a lot harder than I anticipated it would be. I think I took it on prematurely. I could have waited a little bit longer. Yeah, I think I should have sat on it a little bit longer and like let the ego sit for a bit, because after getting first class honors, I was like, yeah, hard. I can do a master's easy. It turned out to be not easy.
I feel like you'd be wanting to run it back though, no? Like you'd be like, oh, if I stop, like that's probably my journey done. So like, why would I want to stop if I'm at this high at this high level, and then just have a delay and I might not come back to it at all. So that's like what I was thinking. Like people say, why don't you take like a gap year after you've finished your degree and then go into postgrad? I'm like, nah, because I feel like I got the right techniques to study, the right sort of mindset right now. I know how to, well, sometimes reference and because it could just leave your mind just like that. But like just all that sort of stuff you already have in your mind right there and there, and I feel like you could easily flow on to the next thing. But
No, I agree. I do think if I took a gap, I might not have come back. But now that I'm doing it, I'm in it, and I'm like, bro, this is actually so hard. I still haven't finished. Tough. I'm like a year overdue. But I think I'll get it done eventually. Like when I was talking to Tu the other day, he's like, well, I haven't not finished it. Like I haven't said that's the end of that journey. It's just I'm not doing it right now. And I was like, true.
Yeah,
he's like, bro, never say never. Never say never. There's always an opportunity.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah, bro. So what, any more thoughts of what you tell your...
Bro, you have no idea. I have been thinking. Like, throughout those... Yeah. Right.
It is a tough one.
It is.
What I think I'd say to myself in 5 to 10 years is... I think I just want to know if, I'll be like, Rauri, what are you up to, brother? I hope you're doing well. I hope you've taken care of yourself. I hope we're still around. We're still a good friend to the people that we've connected with. That we can still be depended on if required. Like, I'm always there if anyone needs me. If you need me, holler. I'll do my best to get there. It might not be within the month, but eventually I'll come back and I'll hit y'all up and we can, tee it up like we was just hanging out yesterday. So I hope I'm still, that friend that can still be called upon when needed.
Yeah. So you'd say, I know, I just tell myself to just keep throwing like the positive vibes around. Don't get yourself down, because that's just me in a nutshell. Really, I always see like the bright light, there's always So
you're hoping that that spark inside of you that's still joyful and not beaten
yeah,
down by
yeah,
life.
yeah. Don't let that alter or like change how you perceive life. Like it's just, I like that about me. Like
Yeah,
I've always just been that person. If that leaves, then I don't know, bro. There could be some dark times. I wouldn't be very happy, would I? But yeah, like just to keep those positive vibes. Always see um, the good at the end of like every situation, whether it's bad or not. Like, yeah, sort of, yeah, um, and be happy with your journey so far. Like, there's nothing, yeah, don't alter anything about yourself. Just be you. I guess it's
just
sort of
stay
like
true to who you are.
yeah, that's the gist. Like in 5 years' time, I hope nothing bad happens. But like I'm just saying, if that was me, I just want like an extra motivator, basically. You know,
Yeah,
something to
yeah.
motivate myself to keep going, which I would anyway. But if this was something that was making me or discouraging me or not wanting me to do a particular thing, just yeah, that's what I'd remind myself to just keep going, keep pushing through. Knowing that I
Man,
would anyway, but yeah,
yeah.
just in case, you know.
Oh yeah, you never know. Like you don't
No,
know what the next 5 to 10 years is going to have in store for you. It might be
no,
the most challenging years of your life,
could
or it
be.
could be the best years of your life. You're never going to know, and I
Oh,
think
I
that's
could,
what's so powerful about that question.
100%.
Your answer.
Um, like I could, for example, I could have that Sport New Zealand job was my goal to get. That might not have gone my way, so just keep reminding yourself, just it's all good. Like just pass it on, just keep going. Don't let anything like you discourage you from trying again, or um, still be happy where you're at. Like you've still achieved quite a bit. You go through all your achievements and where you've been, you've travelled, you've done. Like you can just go through your whole life. Like you've done a lot of. You're in a good place in comparison to a lot of others. So yeah, around the world. So you can't really be down about first world problem type stuff. I guess maybe. I don't know.
That's a very humble way of looking at
Yeah.
that situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess.
I rate that. I respect that. That's a great answer. I think personally, that's a great answer.
Awesome.
Hard to top
It's
that.
not
Really.
it's not an easy it's not an easy question, bro. That's tough. I
Yeah,
rate
well,
it
you got to
though.
dig down deep and look within
Yeah,
yourself and see what's working well with who you are. And I
yeah,
guess it's about being a little bit more vulnerable and sharing a side of yourself that maybe you don't get. Maybe that's that side that you kind of neglect every now and then, just because you're
100%.
so in tune with what's going on around you that you forget that little piece of who you
Yeah,
are that makes you who you are.
basically.
What do you do when things don't go your way? Like you said, like if you don't get that Sport New Zealand job, what do you
Hmm.
do when things don't go the way, not that you planned out, but the way that you would have liked it to have gone? How do you deal with that, and what do you use to combat those feelings?
Um. Bro, I just do things that would make me happy. Like if I get bad news, I tend to. Uh, I guess I tend to eat a lot. I love food. I'm a foodie. Like I just go out to like the fast food restaurant and just hoe out on some burgers or something like that, and I'll be so happy with myself afterwards. Or I go, I just feel full, and then I guess like while I probably do this, um, um while I'm eating, I just like reflect as well at the same time. Like I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
like, oh yeah, like I've, but really, how bad is it? Like you haven't got this, this job. I'm eating away, and I'm like thinking, but you've done, right, you've done this. You got a degree, you got a postgraduate degree. Like you've met all these new people who have helped you within the sector of Sport New Zealand. Like heading up there, like your journey you've been at Sport Otago, for example, and then all these people that have reflected you to upskill yourself, Anne-Marie, and then you just reflect, and you're just like, well, actually, it's not that bad. You keep just reflecting. I'll probably be at while I'm eating, I'll probably be at like the beach, or I'd be up on a hill, like where I could, like where there's a view or something. I'd just be like, go into a wholesome space, I guess.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's my happy space just to relax, put on some music, have a feed, just like look out at the ocean, or this, or like just over the town, and just reflect and be like, it's actually not that bad. But yeah, I guess that's how I'd see it. And then from that point, I just work even harder to get, like, put it aside, like, yeah, that happened. And the next day I just, I guess I would, just work harder, even harder to get to that. So if a position like that came back up again, I'd just work harder, or maybe alter down a slightly different path, but we'll see how that goes. It just depends, I guess, But yeah.
That's me. I rate that. Because that's your space. I miss our post TK Monday, go get a feed.
That's every day. That's every day, go have a feed. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like you just go out, grab a feed. Like you do that so regularly. And you do it with people that you like as well, like, that you like surrounding yourself with. So that in itself is like, doesn't even have to be for bad news, but it's also the time for good news as well, or for just a break. Like it's just an easy, very accessible kind of thing that you can do. So I think that's why I always, that's sort of how I power through.
Great way to plan as well. We'd always be able to be like, bro, so what are you going to do today? I want to try and do this. Or like my favorite ones is when we're talking about our mahi. Like, yes, we writing about it every day, reading about it every day, but it was at these breakfasts, these brunches, these lunches, these afternoon dinners, all these opportunities. But it's when we talk about our research, because that's when we know we've got it, or we know 100%. That person's got it, when they're like, yeah, bro, so I was looking at this, and this, and this is how this all relates to this one theme that I was stuck on last week. You remember when I said that? And you're like, bro. So those were the moments that I loved, because I was like just watching you, when you get those moments, I was like, yo, it's clicking. It's clicking for him. Or when you're like, bro, what do you think about this? And how does this work? Because then I've got to think, and I'm like, oh, shit. Fuck, what if it's like that? And then you're like, oh, but I've looked at it like this. And I'm like, bro, that's me.
Yeah, finding the different perspectives. So it wouldn't just be me and you either. It would be like four of us at a time, and just throwing ideas across. And it's a massive problem solver. I feel like you have this issue, but you talk about it over some food, something simple like a meal with a bunch of mates that you're with, and then a week later you'd just reflect, and you'd be like, oh, bro, that thing that I was talking about last week, I found a solution, and then you throw that solution across to us and be like, yeah, and then you could add this to it, and then everyone starts piling on. Like, it's just, bro, food's just the go.
Bro, it opens up so many different doors, and makes you, kind of puts you in that vulnerable space, because you're like, oh yeah, happy ass.
Yeah. And you can have it in any setting. Like, it doesn't have to be in the restaurant. You can take it home where you feel comfortable and you just want to, sit back, relax, have some food, watch some TV, or you might feel like being social and going out, having a meal with some of your mates, or it could be just going for a walk and then having a picnic somewhere. I don't know, just a whole bunch of different ways you could have food. So it's so accessible, and it's just definitely my go-to. And then just work harder. Work harder the next time. So the next day you just continue on, work harder, work on yourself. Like it's, stay healthy. You had that burger, go for basketball shots, like go for a run, go do your play sports, just keep up your general well-being, I guess. And it's just, I definitely do all that after I've gotten bad news. So just power through.
Bad news, or just some feedback from your writing?
It's still bad news, eh? That's still bad news.
Yeah, bro.
You're like, I swear I just changed that, but then it's like, and then someone else would write something completely, oh, bro, and it just sounds flawless, and it's just, yeah, it just makes you can't because once you write something and you've tried to change it once or twice, it's so hard to rewrite, and you're like looking at it, it's like, bro, what is? Then you start seeing, shapes, and you start seeing words that aren't even like even a part of your, yeah, frick, you're trying to, oh, bro, it's just. Don't even take me back there. I'm gonna go grab some food. Like shit. Don't take me back to my postgrad. I need to stay happy. I'm about to eat soon, so we're good. Yeah. Oh, bro. But yeah, definitely.
Hard out. And see, Fano, if you ever see Jack and I around, or even if you see us individually, and you're like, man, I want to talk to these fellas. What should I do? Just go, bro, you want to feed? We'll be there. We'll be there.
I'll be there. 100%.
100%, man. If it's in Dunedin, we'll go out St. Clair. We'll go to one of those spots along the beach there, or we'll go Balmat number 7. Or if we're going to go grab a burger, we'll head out to maybe Good. They got some great burgers there.
The good thing is too, like we're not picky, so I eat anything. I'm stoked with anything. So as long as you say you want to grab a feed, you want to grab some food, I'll be there.
Man. Comes first chicken. That's always a top spot. Do love going there. It
wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was good actually. Yeah, 100%.
So fine. If you're ever wondering, man, I know that guy. I want to talk to him. Just go, bro. Want to go grab a feed? We'll be there. Well, I don't care if you're a stranger. But as we start wrapping up this show, there's been a great episode, bro. I've really loved having you on, man. It's been a great catch up and just great listening to some of the quips and advice that you handing out to people just through your experiences alone. So is there anything you want to say to the people, or where can they find you before we wrap things up?
Still down here in Dunedin team, so just not really. Just keep doing the mahi, trust in the process. You guys, I'm sure you guys are all more well equipped than I am at understanding yourself, so you know what to do that makes you happy. Just keep doing it. That's basically it.
Mean.
Sure.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Jack Nelson, and we've been so privileged to have you on the show, bro. Thank you so much for joining us on the 99Dreams podcast. Until next time, brother, you take care, you stay safe, and to everybody at home, you all take safe. Take safe? You all take care, stay safe.
Yeah.
But also take some safe with you. Take some safe with you. But Moriore te whānau, take care, and thank you so much for listening. This is the 99Dreams podcast. I'm the host, Rawiri. Till next time, ka kite.